And good morning and welcome. I am Dr. Peter Holmes, orthopedic surgeon, and I am host of your program, Ask the Doctor. My guest is Dr. Scott Thomas. Dr. Thomas is an ophthalmologist. If you have any questions for Dr. Thomas in the future, two ways to reach us. You can reach us through our foundation. That's needfoundation.org with a K, or fax 696-9012. I'd like to respond a little bit to the critics that say, yes, we have a very expensive healthcare system, and yet our life expectancy in this country is really no better than many other countries. And again, I would like to respond to that. By the way, our life expectancy has gone up significantly in the last 10 years. Men, instead of living 72, will live to the age of 78. And women will live now to the age of 84. The way I figure it, men, we're gone, and the women get to party for another 5 or 6 years. But that's the new life expectancy. But other critics will say other countries have similar life expectancies, and yet our medicine's more expensive. Well, I'd like to respond to that. See, there's something out there called politics. And what I've learned over the years, if you hear something you don't think is quite right, there's probably something else going in there. I mean, the new movie Sicko about Cuba's great medicine system. How many of y'all gotten on an airplane recently to go get your bypass procedure? Because you know in your heart that ain't happening. So the politics. And one of the things is how statistics are kept. When I was overseas in a European hospital doing orthopedics, it was interesting that when a baby is born in this particular country, they would not count the birth of that baby for 4 days. Okay? Seems reasonable, because they didn't want to count the birth, because if it was a genetic defect or if it was a cracked baby or something like that and died, it really wasn't their fault. So they didn't count it. Where in this country, the baby's born, as soon as it exits into this world, it counts as a birth. So if it dies the first day, for whatever reason, being genetics, cracked baby, or something along that line, it counts in our statistics, where it wouldn't count in this other country's statistics. So let's look at this. If you have an American baby that dies at day 1, and you have an older gentleman that dies at 100 at day 1, if you average those two, the life expectancy of that American population is 50 years of age. Where in the other country, they won't count the baby that dies at 1 day, but they'll count the guy that dies at 100, and they'll say their life expectancy is 100. So it's a little skewed, and you go, gee, why would they want to do that? Politics. If you look at socialized countries, they don't want to tell their people their life expectancy is lousy. Okay, because it's socialized medicine. You can't get any more involved than what the government already is if you're fully governmentized in their medical system. And so basically by saying 3 days or 4 days, they get to skew their statistics. In Russia, they don't count the birth till their first birthday. So that eliminates a lot of things that happen during the first year. In Africa, there's some countries, they don't even know when they're born. I went to a school and did some physicals. The kids all had the same birthday because they weren't even sure what year or month they were born. Statistics. Politics. In this country, why is it that way? Because they want a lot of funding for early stuff, women, infant, and children, or WIC programs, that kind of thing. So if you have a high infant mortality reported, be it skewed or not, you get more funding. Politics. Politics means money. Second thing, genetics. We aren't the same in the United States as we are in Sweden. Okay? For example, Hispanic population in this country is large. And 15% of Hispanics have diabetes. We can't change that. It's called genetics, okay? So if you have 15% of your population with a disease with an early mortality, it's different than in a country where they have 1% diabetes, i.e. Sweden. So it's like apples and oranges as far as this system goes. You can't compare these two when you have different populations. Third thing I'd like to bring up is perhaps American lifestyle. We eat. Anybody noticed? Okay. People do drugs. People drive fast. I mean, when I was on Life Flight and was picking up a motorcyclist that did 120 miles an hour before he went to 0 miles an hour on the backside of a pickup truck on cocaine, that person died at the age of 18. That counts as a mortality. It's averaged in. What has that got to do with American medicine? It has to do with decisions, bad driving, and the fact that he flattened his head against the back of a pickup truck. Not American medicine. Drug-related deaths count against it. What's that got to do with medicine? Shootings about drugs have to do with it. Lifestyles, discretions, indiscretions, all add to statistics to pull this down. But we count it. Other countries don't necessarily do so. The other thing is, yes, we are expensive. But you know why we're expensive? Because we do it. We do medicine. When you go to England and they don't allow you to go into the ICU after the age of 59, think of the money we could save by making that same rule here. Okay? Nobody after 59 is allowed in the ICU. If you're diabetic and need dialysis in England, age cutoff is 55. Again, think of the money we'd save by not doing that. But in this country, we do it. If you go to Canada, you get in a wait line for everything. You know that. Bypass procedures, total hips, total knees. And if you do get a bypass procedure in Canada, you're only allowed one. You don't go back again. Okay? You're lucky to get one, but you don't go back again. So in this country, indeed, we're expensive because we take care of those who are retired, who have paid into the system, and we do it. So when you hear we're expensive, you're right, because we do it. And if you hear about the mortality statistics, you look them in the eyes and talk a little statistics. These are my opinions. If you have any comments, there is two ways to reach me. You can reach me through my foundation. That's needfoundation.org. That's with a K. Or fax 696-9012 to ask the doctor.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I injured my knee back in February, but thanks to the foundation, I'll be playing again.
I'm Dr. Peter Holmes. The Orthopedic Need Foundation was formed to help those families who are underinsured or uninsured return their athlete to their sport. Please help us to return kids back to their sport after injuries like this.
You can send your donations online at www.needfoundations.org or call 210-542-1722. All donations are tax deductible. Make a difference in a child's life.